How to end your fears. Fear is defined as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Fear is an emotion that we prefer not to have because it feels unpleasant to us and causes us to react in ways where we often don't perform at our best because we can't focus as well on the task at hand due to our fear. This doesn't mean that all fears are bad or negative. Throughout human history, fear has helped humankind to survive and evolve. Cavemen were afraid of dinosaurs because of the harm they could cause, therefore, cavemen avoided them as much as possible and devised weapons to try to defend themselves when a confrontation couldn't be avoided. Today, humans are fearful of volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes because of the devastation they can do and the loss of human life that can result from these natural disasters. As a result of that fear, humans have devised early detection methods, communication systems, and evacuation strategies in an effort to try to minimize the damage and prevent the loss of human life. Therefore, fear can help humankind be better. However, when we have a fear, it often paralyzes us to the point where it's hard to stay focused and perform at our best. We often worry about whatever is behind that fear, such as afraid of giving a presentation in front of our clients, peers, or superiors. While fear can help to improve ourselves in some ways, it often stands in our way of achieving the goals we want to achieve and reaching our inner greatness. This is why we must find a way to overcome our fears and not let them stand in the way of our greatness and our best possible potential. First, we have to understand what is behind our fear, why we are afraid of whatever is behind that fear. This is really the only way we are going to overcome that fear and its obstruction to our goals and inner greatness. Why do we fear what we fear? For example, if we fear giving presentations, it may be because we are apprehensive about appearing in front of crowds. It may be because we think we are incapable of capturing their attention and getting approval from them as we give the presentation. It may be because we are afraid of making a mistake. In fact, making mistakes is a key element behind most fears. We are afraid of making mistakes in our line of work, in the tasks we do, and in everyday life. Society has largely taught us that making mistakes is not a good thing to do, often resulting in negative consequences. As a result, we do our best to avoid them, but we often fear to make them because of the negative consequences that can result. Therefore, societal influence and pressure is a key reason why we fear mistakes and a key reason why we have fears. We want to live up to everyone else's standards and expectations. As a result, we try our best, but often become nervous and fearful that we won't achieve as much as we are expected to. This constant fear comes from the fact that we want to belong, we want to be accepted by others for who we are and what we do. When we fail to live up to those expectations, such as making mistakes, we fear rejection by others and isolation by others as a result. Being rejected by others and being isolated by others is also behind many fears. For instance, when we have to take on something challenging by ourselves, we often feel a sense of dread and even panic because we stand alone. This is why it's challenging to stand up for a cause when you are one or just a few against a larger group that stands opposite of your position. When we are rejected due to our status, our clothing, our mannerisms, or for any other reason, we become fearful and even dejected because of that rejection and the resulting isolation. We feel there is something wrong with us because we are rejected by other members of society based on our looks, status, clothing, mannerisms, or other reasons. We then become more fearful to show our true selves, often preferring to conform to the norm and blend in with everyone else out of a fear of showing our true selves, out of fear of rejection, isolation, and even ridicule. Just as with making mistakes and other types of fears, when we are fearful of what other people think of us and reject and even ridicule us or ignore us, it takes a toll on our focus, our self-confidence, and even our self-worth. It's harder to put the focus into the work we need to accomplish in order to achieve our goals. It's harder to accomplish great things when we are always fearful of what other people think of us. It's harder to achieve our inner greatness and have the most satisfying and fulfilling life possible. Therefore, it is essential that we move past these fears and end them so that they no longer stand in the way of our goals, dreams, and aspirations. How do we go about doing this? First, you have to be aware of your exact fears. What exactly is making you afraid? Is it a fear of making mistakes? Is it a fear of being rejected by others because of who you are and what you stand for? Is it something else? You have to know exactly what you are fearful of before you can successfully address that fear. You have to be curious about what is causing your specific fear. You have to know exactly what thoughts and situations are causing that fear, when exactly you feel that fear, and your usual response to that fear, including how it's impacting your life. Knowing and understanding your fear can help you to learn why you have this fear, as well as rationalize a way to end the fear. If you are afraid of public speaking, you may wish to take some communication courses that allow you to make speeches in front of a small group in order to gain more confidence in public speaking so you can do it in front of larger groups and in more critical situations. If you are afraid of making mistakes, rationalize that making mistakes actually helps you to learn how to improve yourself as an individual. Virtually no invention or discovery was found the first time the creator tried to find it. He or she had to go through many tests and tries, i.e. mistakes or failures, before finding the invention or discovery. This is further proof that mistakes are not bad in themselves, unlike what society often tells us, but only if we learn from them and learn to improve ourselves by analyzing them and learning how to avoid similar mistakes in the future. If you are afraid of others rejecting you because of your looks, your clothing, your status, or any other reason, think about why their opinion matters to you. Does everyone feel this way about you? It's very likely they do not. Therefore, find and associate with people who accept you for who you are and who do not ridicule you. Chances are high that people who ridicule you and reject you are not people you want to associate and hang around with anyway, so don't fear as if you're losing out on something because these people don't want to hang around with you. See it as a positive that you're not wasting your time with people who have a narrow vision of what their friends have to be in order to spend time with them. In fact, when you have a fear, attempt to see the fear in a positive light. For instance, if you fear public speaking, instead of fearing you're going to make a mistake and do poorly at it, focus on the idea that you're going to speak well and that the speech will be a success. Many say that thinking positively leads to positive results. Oftentimes, when we think something is going to happen, it most often does. Therefore, if we think we're going to speak poorly and make mistakes, chances are high that we are going to find a way to make it happen. However, if we are confident in the material we plan to speak on and think positively and confidently about the speech we're going to make, chances are high that the speech will go well. When you have a fear, it's often helpful to acknowledge it in one or more ways, to get it out into the open so that you can analyze it and find ways to overcome it. Talking with a family member or close friend can help you to determine why you have this fear and how to best overcome it. A family member or close friend can reassure you when you are fearful of something that you can overcome the fear and do great things. For instance, if you are fearful of speaking in front of a crowd, she can help you to become more confident in public speaking by helping you with your speech and giving advice on making it better. Many times, a family member or close friend can see how our fear forms and why it's something that should not stand in the way of our goals, as they may reassure us that we are stronger and better in the task we fear than we think. They can often rationally see our strengths and our abilities better than we can. Where we fear ourselves as being a poor public speaker, they can show us that we are much better than we think and point to past examples where we have spoken well in front of large groups. Another good way to acknowledge and address fear is through a journal or diary. By keeping a daily log of our thoughts and fears, we can actually see what the fear is and what thoughts are leading us to have this fear. We can also rationalize a way to overcome this fear and not let it stand in the way of our goals and achievements. Sometimes, reading up on the type of fear we have or on situations we are dealing with and seeing what other people have done in such situations can help us to see that there is a way to overcome our fear and not be hampered by it. This can be in the form of reading a book, whether it's biographical, motivational, inspirational, etc., reading blog entries by someone who is dealing or has dealt with a similar situation or similar fear to yours, etc. Sometimes, we may need professional help to overcome a fear that we have, one we cannot solve on our own via a journal diary or via talking with family members or friends. Sometimes, we need to see a therapist to discuss any challenges and issues we are having that lead to this fear. A therapist is sometimes needed to dive deep into the issues that are leading to this fear and help us sort out why we are having this fear and develop a plan to overcome this fear. There are also noted techniques you can try in an effort to overcome your fears. One such method is emotional freedom techniques, or EFT. There are meridian points on your body that you can tap using your fingertips. Do this while you are thinking about fear, and the power of that fear over you is reduced greatly and sometimes altogether. Another noted method that can help you overcome fear is the Sedona method. The Sedona method involves you asking yourself a few simple questions while you focus on your fear. This can help to reduce and eliminate the power that the fear has over you. Another similar method to the Sedona method in that you ask questions while focusing on your fear is known as the work. While this method doesn't work for everyone dealing with fears, undergoing hypnosis is another option. Programming the right thoughts into your mind and eliminating negative thoughts and beliefs can help you find a way to overcome your fears and not let them hamper your focus, work, and efforts to achieve your goals and your best possible potential. There are many ways to overcome fears, which are unpleasant emotions caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Fears are something we do not like to experience because they make us uncomfortable and cause us to lose focus on what we are doing, making us less efficient and effective in our everyday lives. While fear has helped humankind to evolve and become better, it can often lead to paralysis for us and avoiding to do the necessary tasks we need to do in order to achieve our goals and find our inner greatness. We have to really focus on why we fear something in order to understand the cause of our fear and how to go about overcoming it. Fears often occur because we are afraid of making mistakes. Society has taught us that making mistakes is bad and can lead to negative consequences. While that is true to an extent, it's also true that mistakes can be valuable experiences to learn and grow from to improve ourselves as individuals. We also often fear the rejection, isolation, and ridicule of others, either because of mistakes we make in front of them or because we are different from them in terms of status, hair, clothing, mannerisms, etc. We, as human beings, feel a need to belong and don't want to be isolated from others based on being different. This is why in many cases, people will conform to others' ways of thinking and even being in terms of similar hairstyles, clothing, mannerisms, etc. To rid ourselves of fear and to enable us to regain our focus and efficiency, we need to see the fear in a positive light. We need to think positively instead of negatively when we think about fear. If we fear public speaking, instead of thinking we're going to do badly, think that the speech will be a success. It often helps to get the fear out in the open. Talking about it with friends or family or writing about it and any associated thoughts in a journal diary can help us to learn why we have that fear and find a way to overcome it. Methods such as emotional freedom techniques, EFT, the Sedona method, and the work can provide relief and comfort from fear. EFT involves tapping on meridian points on the body to reduce fear, while the Sedona method and the work involve asking questions while focusing on our fear to help weaken its paralysis and power over us. Finally, a therapist may be needed if the above methods don't work to reduce or eliminate the fear of where we can function efficiently and effectively to achieve our best work and reach our greatest potential. Everyone has fears, but the power to overcome them is within our grasp, and doing so is essential to achieving our best potential, reaching our inner greatness, and having the most satisfying and fulfilling life possible. How to become an unstoppable action taker in order to achieve the goals we want to achieve and to reach our inner greatness, we have to be willing to take action toward our goals. Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion says, an object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by a force. This means that unless we take action toward our goals, we aren't getting anywhere. We will not improve ourselves as an individual, we will not add to our legacy, we will not achieve the accomplishments we want to achieve, and we will not reach our inner greatness if we don't act on it. Thinking about it alone will not do it. Yes, thinking can help lay out the foundation of how we can accomplish something, but unless we actually do the steps to make that happen, it's not going to happen. The force Newton talks about in his first law of motion has to be us if we want to progress as an individual and in this life. Unfortunately, many people stop short of taking action to achieve their goals and reach the accomplishments they want to achieve. There are many reasons why they stop short. One common reason is that they don't believe they have the capability of achieving those goals. They think they're not good enough. Those that have done it have some special ability or knowledge that they lack. As a result, they hesitate and don't do the actions or do them haphazardly and without any confidence because they believe that they don't have the skills or ability to achieve what successful people have achieved or are achieving. The truth is that people who have achieved and are achieving their goals are no more special than you are. They don't have some magical power or ability to achieve what they have achieved. All they were willing to do that you and others don't is the willingness to take action to achieve the goals they want to achieve. Another common reason is that it takes too long and too much effort. As a result, most people put off hard activities until a later date. They'll often say, "I'll get to that tomorrow." But they usually don't, saying they'll get to it the next day. This pattern will continue until they put off doing those difficult, important tasks until they can no longer put them off or put them off to eternity and never complete them if they can afford to do that. Most worthwhile goals usually take a good deal of time and effort to achieve. However, the reason you and others can't reach those goals when others can is that they were willing to put in that time and effort. In our fast society today, many people want instant fame, instant wealth, instant power. However, that is unrealistic in the vast majority of cases. Those that have the fame, the wealth, the power, didn't get it overnight, even if the media sometimes implies that they did. The point is that it took a great deal of time and hard work for those successful people to get where they are today, and likewise, it will take you a similar amount of time and as much effort to accomplish your goals. There really is no way around it. The only question is when you will start to do the tasks necessary to achieve those goals. Again, it comes down to taking action. Thoughts, wishes, desires will not get the job done. You must actually do the steps needed to accomplish the tasks necessary to achieve those goals. There is simply no other way to do it, so delaying the action necessary to achieve those goals and make those dreams happen is only delaying yourself of the success, fame, fortune, power, and recognition you are looking for. Another common reason why people don't take action is that they are afraid of making mistakes. They will often want to overanalyze the situation, trying to get more insight into the situation so that they can improve their response and not make a mistake and make things worse. This can often lead to people procrastinating and putting tasks off in an effort to get more information, to provide a better solution or answer. The truth is, most successful people make many mistakes over their lifetimes to get where they are at today. They weren't successful in their fields on the first try. There were many failures along the way. The only reason they turned those failures into one or more successes is that they kept working toward their goals, kept performing actions, and doing what was necessary to make that goal happen. It is said that out of 10 attempts to get something right, only one of the 10 is actually successful. That means that 9 times out of 10, the project is a failure. Yet, the successful person doesn't stop because of failure. Instead, she sees it as an opportunity to grow and learn what doesn't work so that she can put more effort into a method that does work to reach her goal. This is what successful people do to make their dreams and aspirations come true, and you can do the same. The bottom line is that successful people keep working, keep taking action. You must do the same in order to achieve the goals and success you want to achieve. There are no shortcuts. There may be ways to speed up the work, especially learning from others who have come before you, but if you're expecting instant wealth, instant fame, instant power without doing any work, it's not happening. Therefore, you need to become a consistent and unstoppable action taker in order to make your dreams and aspirations come true, as well as to reach the inner greatness that is within you. Reaching any of these will not be easy, and they will not happen overnight. You must work at them continuously in order to succeed. This is why it's essential you become an unstoppable action taker. One of the best ways to become an unstoppable action taker is to just step up and do the action or task that is needed to be done. Now, this doesn't mean you don't analyze and prepare for the task, but when enough analysis and preparation has been done, you need to go and do the task. There comes a point in time when there are diminishing returns to analysis and preparation. At a specific point in time, you can't analyze anything further to gain more insight on what to do, and you can't prepare yourself anymore after a specific period. It is at this point in time you must complete the task that needs to be completed. Remember, action is what leads to your goals and accomplishments, to your success and your inner greatness. Thinking about it, analyzing the situation, preparing yourself for the moment will not lead to the goals and accomplishments, to the success and inner greatness, to the fame, fortune, and recognition you want. Even if your action doesn't lead to the desired result, if the task you completed doesn't work out as expected, you at least took the step necessary to get closer to your goal. If a mistake occurs, analyze the mistake for the requisite amount of time, figure out how the mistake occurred and what caused it, then learn how to avoid the mistake and perform the action again, utilizing the information you learned from the first doing of the task. Every time you make a mistake, you learn what you shouldn't do to complete the task and reach the goal you set. Therefore, you should not fear mistakes, and you should not let them stop you from completing the tasks you need to complete in a timely manner. Making mistakes doing necessary tasks is better than never doing tasks in an effort to avoid mistakes, because you will never accomplish any goals with the latter, nor reach your inner greatness. A way to motivate yourself to take action consistently is to tell others what you are going to do before you are about to do it. By telling others what you are going to do, you are essentially committing yourself to the task you want to complete. If you don't complete the task as you told others you would, you will disappoint others by not completing it and then having to face the disappointment and ridicule from them when you see them the next time and have to tell them that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Therefore, you'll want to take the necessary steps needed to complete the action before you see the people you told about the action again. Even if you don't do the task as well as you thought you would, at least you attempted to achieve the task, which means that you did the necessary steps needed to complete the task. If you are not around others that often, it can be difficult to motivate yourself to take action. However, you often have to motivate yourself to take action, as there won't always be people around to encourage you to take action and follow your dreams and goals. Therefore, you should also tell yourself what you are going to accomplish. It usually helps to write down such goals and accomplishments on a piece of paper, in a journal, diary, in a text file or spreadsheet file, so that you again are making yourself accountable to taking action toward your goals. While you may not experience the disappointment you get from telling others by writing it down, you are still putting down on record what you are going to do, and chances are high you're going to run across this statement of what you are going to do. If you fail to take action and don't complete the task that you stated you would do, then a portion of your mind is going to admonish you for not living up to your word. A pit in your stomach is going to nag at you because you didn't take the action you were going to take when you wrote it down. Therefore, there will be still negative consequences if you write down your tasks and goals, as you are putting down on record what you are going to do, and you won't be a person of your word if you don't take action as you stated you would do. Another way to help yourself to take more action is to not put so much emphasis or importance on the task or action you plan to do. When we make tasks or actions too big in our minds, we often have a tendency to become paralyzed at doing them. As a result, we will procrastinate and make excuses on why we can't do the action. By taking a deep breath and thinking that we can do the task or action we set out to do, we'll be more likely to take the steps necessary to complete the task or action in a timely manner, thereby reaching our goals and our inner greatness much sooner. To-do lists can often help us to take action more consistently. However, there is an important step you should take when making to-do lists. You should never make them too big. It's best to make them no more than 2 to 3 items at most. The reason why is because, if you put down 5, 10, 20 items on that list, you're going to look at it and think, that's a big list and many actions to handle. Your brain will start to think about all of those actions at once. You'll start to slow down and paralyze yourself because you are thinking of everything you have to do. If you keep the to-do list short, you'll be much more likely to continue performing the actions and tasks necessary to complete the items on that short to-do list. Then, once you complete the items on that short to-do list, put down 2 to 3 more items on another short to-do list and repeat the process. Therefore, you have learned that taking action is the only way you are going to achieve the goals and accomplishments you want to achieve, and it's the only way you're going to achieve the inner greatness you want to achieve. In our fast society today, people want shortcuts that give them instant fame, wealth, and power, but those shortcuts don't exist. Shortcuts of prior knowledge in a field or task may be available to help you cut down on the time it takes to reach your ultimate goal, but not where you have instant success and fame. Those don't exist. Instead, you have to be willing to take action. This doesn't mean thinking about something, analyzing something, preparing yourself for something. While those activities have their place to do something well, at a specific point when you can't get anything more from analysis and preparation, you need to do the task you set out to do. Even if the action doesn't turn out as well as expected, you still have learned valuable information on what not to do in order to reach your goals and aspirations. Many people hesitate in taking action because they're afraid of making mistakes, even though even the most successful people make plenty of mistakes before finding success. Many people hesitate in taking action because it's too hard and it'll take too long, but as was said, the only way to succeed is through action, and those successful people had to take plenty of action to succeed and be where they are at now. Ways to motivate yourself include telling others what you plan to do. If you fail to take action, when you see them again, you'll have to experience the disappointment and ridicule from them because you didn't do what you had said you would do. You can also tell yourself what you plan to do via writing it down on a piece of paper, in a journal, diary, or in a text file or spreadsheet file. Every time you see your goal or task is written down, and you haven't completed it, nagging pain in your stomach and negative thought in your mind will surface. Utilizing to-do lists can be helpful for you to take action, but only if you keep them short, 2 to 3 items long. If you make to-do lists longer, you'll look at the list and paralyze yourself because your brain will start thinking about all of the actions you have to complete. By keeping the to-do list, you'll be much likelier to act and complete the tasks required to finish the tasks on your to-do list. Then, you can create a new to-do list with 2 to 3 items, complete those, and repeat the process. The only way you will ever achieve your goals and the success you want is to consistently take action. There is no other way to do it. Delaying taking action will only lead to it taking longer to achieve the goals, success, and inner greatness you want to achieve. Therefore, the sooner you start taking action toward your goals, the sooner you will experience the success and inner greatness you want to achieve.